everyone, it's your friend the Chipmunk, and it is time again for another pregnancy movie review. This time we'll be reviewing the movie What to Expect When You're Expecting. Now, I went in this film with very low expectations, because generally from what I've heard around the pregnancy community on the forums and things, is that the film was not all that great. It got very mixed reviews. So, when I got this on DVD, I came in it with low expectations. And I have to say, though, I was surprised. And it's not often that I'm pleasantly surprised by a film that, of course, generally gets rather bad reviews around the general pregnancy community. I want to tell you what I found interesting about it and why I think this film got some of the bad reactions that it did from the pregnancy community. First off, let me describe the film to you. What to Expect When You're Expecting, of course, is based on the book that's been around for decades and decades for pregnant women. All pregnancy lovers are aware of it because they've at least seen it once in their lifetime when they're in the bookstores and sifting through places where they want to see pregnant bellies. Back in the day, especially before the internet, that was the only place you could see pregnant bellies, was in a bookstore and at the pregnancy section. But the book itself doesn't contain mostly photos or anything like that. It just contains, helpful tips for pregnant women and things like that and what you're going through and humorous anecdotes and things of that nature, etc., etc. Well, the film came out, and of course, I think generally people expected kind of nothing from it because it was based on a book that's basically just an instruction book on how to get through pregnancy, But the pregnant belly effects in this film are very good. They're very well done. If you just saw these women in public and you did not know that they were not really pregnant, you would swear they were pregnant because these bellies are so realistic looking. They're so good. And they really do a great job with them. I mean, it's truly the latest state-of-the-art pregnant belly technology, if you will. And the film itself, as a whole, starts out, with the usual, these couples all start to have babies. Except for Jennifer Lopez. She's in this film, but she adopts a baby. I don't know why Jennifer Lopez was in this film. I'm glad they didn't make her pregnant because I already had a disappointing movie from her, earlier with her. Oh goodness, now I can't even remember the title. I think I blocked it out. But anyway, you can see that review of an earlier pregnancy movie that she did that was just horrible and disappointing to the max. And me personally, I just don't find J-Lo that attractive. But anyway, we don't have to really worry about her here. She's a non-factor in this film. And the other pregnant women are great. They all start out, getting pregnant and having babies, and that goes through most of the film. Earlier on, there is a couple that you can tell right off is not going to make it because they're these two young people, and I knew immediately these two their baby would not make it because not only had I heard that there was a couple that had a miscarriage in the film, but you can just kind of look at them and tell, yeah, this is the couple that isn't going to work it out. All the other couples are married, they're great people, but these two, they just kind of get together, and she gets pregnant unexpectedly, and she sadly has a miscarriage. I almost, because of that, I almost took a point away from this because of that. But I decided at the last moment not to, because even though that is sad and disappointing that they decided to have a miscarriage in this film, you don't really get too attached to the pregnancy because it doesn't last very long. It happens very early on. You can tell it's going to happen. She just gets pregnant, but then it doesn't, she's hardly showing at all. I would say pretty much nothing showing at all. And she has a miscarriage, and she doesn't get pregnant again throughout the film. She's supposed to be like a sister or cousin or something to one of the pregnant lead characters. That was the only disappointing thing about the film. Now keep in mind, I got this on DVD, and because of that, I was able to skip through the parts that I didn't like or that just went on too long. And I think I know why this film got the kind of bad rep that it did. Earlier on, people had complained that a great chunk of the movie had spent way too much time on the male characters and not enough on the pregnant characters, which of course are what we came to see the film for. And while I have no problem with men having their say in pregnancy and everything, that's obviously not what we want to see in a pregnancy film. We want to see the pregnant women. We don't want to see what the men think about the pregnancy and having stupid dialogue with parenthood and lame jokes and crap and stuff like that. We've seen that before. And I think that is why this movie originally got such bad press in the pregnancy community. But the good thing about it is if you get it on DVD, you can just skip those parts. You don't have to see them. So I was able to skip those parts and thus not have to suffer through having to see and hear all the bad dialogue and crap before we got to the pregnant women and the really great scenes that this film had. So in the end, getting it on DVD really helps, and I think if everybody had saw it that way the first time, it probably would not have gotten the bad reaction that it did. I can't say that for everybody. I know some people. I call it we have this problem. I call it the internet spoiled effect. The internet spoiled effect. And what is the internet spoiled effect? Well, I hinted that sometime earlier that a lot of us have been spoiled now by what we see on the internet, and therefore when we see movies and photos that don't quite measure up to the level of things we've seen on the internet, we tend to think, gee, well, that's not as good as that I saw on this, or I didn't see, it wasn't as good as this movie I saw on the internet, and blah, blah, blah. And that's what kind of plays into it, is the internet spoiled effect. And I think maybe that played a little bit into what to expect when you're expecting. Some people think, well, okay, the bare bellies were good, but, we could have used it all throughout the film and all throughout this. Well, you've got a lot of scenes. You've got a lot of pregnancy scenes, a lot of bare belly scenes, some pregnancy-related dialogue even. I mean, what more can you ask for in a mainstream Hollywood film? I came into this thinking that because of all the negative publicity that it had gotten from the community, that this would be a bad film. So I went in with very low expectations. So maybe that's why I came out thinking, well, this is a great movie. What were they talking about? This being such a bad thing. But again, I think it's a combination of the internet spoiled effect and the fact that when people saw this in the theaters, that it had all these scenes with the male characters and it went way too long, and it detracted from the pregnant characters. But despite that, when you get it on DVD, it's great. It's good. It's a really great film, and with that, I think we can get right to our score now. Okay, so the final score for what to expect when you're expecting is 3 Pregnant Women. It has great pregnant belly effects, great scenes, and like I said, now that it's on DVD, you can just skip through the empty scenes of the male characters and go right to the scenes that have the pregnant characters in them. You won't regret it. It's a great film. I enjoyed it. There were some things, like I said, that I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the miscarriage. I didn't enjoy the scenes that dragged on too long without the pregnant women. But despite that, when you do get to the scenes with the pregnant women, they are 100% good, in my opinion. They are great. Get this film, you will not regret it. It's a 3 Pregnant Women perfect score. This is one to add to the collection, guys. In my opinion, you've got nothing to lose. This definitely belongs right there up top with all the other pregnancy movies that have gotten great scores in the past. So anyway, that's all for now, and we will see you next time, my friends.